Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on WINNMedia 98.9.
Good morning. And welcome to another episode of Island Tea with your faves, Kevon and Azem, featuring Jade, Gwen, Johnson.
Morning. What's going on?
That's us.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
You know the sad part is?
No.
The viewers can't see how elated we are to be here with them because of the mask.
Well, there you go.
Y'all ever had to consciously work on your smiles?
No. I don't think I care enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, tell me one then. And y'all say is the Scrooge?
Yeah, you are. There is no doubt about that, Azem.
What? I'm pretty sure everybody listening to the show does go, Jade is the Scrooge.
I doubt that.
What?
I highly doubt that. I'm
Brass
the
and
furthest thing from a Scrooge.
That may be true, but I'm saying that's not the impression.
Well, that is business.
See? You see? I rest my case.
And crude.
I rest my case.
The defense
What
rests.
What can I do? Nothing.
There's always something you can do.
Today is a good day to be upset though.
You know what happened? We just let her expound.
Today's Thursday.
I know.
And you know what that means? Oh! It's Thursday, July 29th. The time is 8:07 a.m. And Thursday, we like to start our day off by grinding some gears.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Big up Axman one time. Bye, man. Axman early to the bar.
Always.
Shabang, big up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and guys, remember, those of you who are joining us online, remember to share all the posts with your friends.
Yeah.
And even
Like and subscribe.
even the ones who are friendly but not necessarily friends, share it with them as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Kevon just disappear.
I'm here. I received a spam call. Spam my screen.
Hey, bro, spam calls is just annoying me. Yeah.
Why?
The most annoying thing. Yeah, because you tell me about my car insurance expiring.
I used to get that from a
Who
college.
tell you I got insurance?
A college. I can't remember which college it was, but they used to spam call me all the time. I don't even know if it was the actual college.
I'm saying what?
To sign back up and come join them and all kind of story.
That is a cult. That
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
college.
Speaking, Kevon,
Yes.
sing the song before I start.
Spark something.
Which song? Which song?
Today's Thursday.
He doesn't have a
I do
green.
it already?
No, you didn't.
He said.
Yes,
he
I said it's
yes.
time to grind
Okay, maybe I
some
black out for like
gears.
2 seconds.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay. Jade.
Wow.
Jade. Cross and Crude blaming me for your lack of attention.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't know where my
on
mind
script.
went just now, but I really blanked out and did not.
oh well.
Thanks, Azem.
Go ahead, Jade. Go ahead, some gears.
Let's go. Go in it. Go
So
in it.
there's 2 things
Two things, Jade. Gaelic.
that have been bothering my spirit.
That's when you know it's serious.
Yes. And they all stemmed from yesterday.
From yesterday.
Fresh
Woo.
on the spirit.
Woo.
So I'm trying to figure out the best way. And I'm open for corrections, people. But let's start with the one that bothered me first.
Okay.
So I was listening to the briefing yesterday, right?
Okay.
I remember they said that was going to give us more information on the people that breached the quarantine in Nevis.
Okay.
They jumped on a little ferry, zoomed over to St. Kitts
All right.
and went to Frigate Bay where they found them. They said they took them to OTI to finish their quarantine period.
Okay.
And then they took them, I guess, in front of a judge when they were tested negative. And they were fined $500 US. No, that would be all. Nale, it wouldn't be fine. But the reason this bothered me more so than if it would have bothered me like 4 months ago is because we fresh off a lockdown with COVID, cases rising, and all of that. Fresh, like still going through it fresh. Just catching back with all fresh. And people who decided to put the country at risk again, not one country but 2, I
One
find.
country, 2 islands. I got you.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We'll find $500. How much is it? What's the amount you are charged if you are found in breach of quarantine in St. Kitts? Like say we have a lockdown and you're outside for whatever reason. How much do they charge?
I'm not sure.
I think it was 5,000. Wasn't it 5,000? This is why I said I'm open for corrections. But wasn't it 5,000 easy? Anybody? Am I wrong? I don't feel like I'm wrong. I feel like my anger is justified.
I mean, anger justified no matter what no matter what that information really is.
500 US, we fresh off a lockdown, put back the country, set back the country, set back work, set back people who are making money. All kind of things happen. Fresh. About 500 US.
Not a very good deterrent, to be quite honest.
Sure. I hope this person is upset as me.
Good morning, caller. Live on Island T. Are you upset as Jade?
Morning, guys. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
It's E-time.
Yes, sir.
Jade, you're so correct.
Thank you.
Local people is $5,000, but apparently these people 500 is like 5,000 for us. Probably we become Guyanese money now. So 500 years equivalent to 5,000, something like that.
Oh, wow.
I guess it's Guyanese money we're using in tickets now. But
Has
for
to be.
locals, is breach of quarantine. Your breach of curfew is $5,000, but your breach of quarantine that can kill 100 of us, is 500 US. Yeah. So, yep, it's crazy, but yeah, we live in the ticket still. It's not a real country, some people say. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me do some maths here on my good little calculator. 5,000 divided by 2.7. That's it? Okay.
Let's go 2.7.
2.7.
That's
you could do
$1,851.85 if you are local and you breach quarantine or lockdown.
Could I jam them with a cool 2,000?
They deserve way more than that, Azem.
I don't tell you what I think they deserve, you know.
Wait, was like in jail?
Minimum 2 weeks in prison.
I don't understand. Like, do you understand what happened?
You need to learn how to stay somewhere for 2 weeks.
You literally
you can't-
jumped
if
on
you
a
choose-
ferry. You left quarantine. You jumped on a ferry. You traveled to Frigate Bay. The amount
Ask you a
of
question,
people.
wait there, before you even do that, there. How they get from Montpellier?
Oh, that's another good question, but they didn't
know,
give us
you-
that in the
you
You know,
briefing.
yeah, Montpellier be committed to it. They jump on a bus, like somebody get them a drop, like what happened
Like,
there?
you don't know how much people they had to come into contact with between Montpellier and Frigate Bay?
My thing is too, they had to have coordinated that, and I'm not sure with whom they would have coordinated with, whether it's like a taxi driver or somebody.
As in they
You
were
know,
from Montpellier, so they had to get
No,
from
but
everywhere.
what I'm
I
saying
think-
is it like this? So this sounds to me like it was maybe it was returning nationals. They said it was who?
No. They left the country after they paid the $500, you know?
No. It could be. What I'm saying is it's somebody who's familiar with the island.
I don't know. I don't
because,
know, to be
yeah,
totally
crazy.
honest.
It's
All I
crazy.
know is when I heard that $500, I felt like a slap in the face, boy.
I think
Being
2 weeks
later
in jail
bother
is
me.
a solid, because if you can't, if you
all of
get
them
to
bother
choose
me.
where you do your quarantine and you choose not to use where you choose, then we'll choose for you, kind of thing.
So I'll tell you, like, obviously, like, this is my thing, right? It's obviously you're having trouble. Obviously, you're having trouble assessing the risk associated with your actions, and to help you recognize what 2 weeks actually feels like. Yeah, then we'd assist you. We'd assist you in the lesson. You do a 2 weeks and you do a 2 weeks mandatory. And that's after you can't get sentenced until you see the judge, and you can't see the judge until you finish your quarantine, so that you could get your negative test. So yeah, after all of that, you get your 2 week sentence plus the maximum for breaching quarantine, and then we say thank you very much and you leave.
Yeah, I realize what could have happened. Like, these people could have been carrying the Delta variant, and next thing you know, we're back to square one.
Let me ask you a question though. Why y'all think this is like this?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, but I do not know the answer. But I would like somebody to tell me the answer. Somebody who is in charge specifically, because I feel like this should come from you guys. Like, I don't feel like we should be guessing and speculating why this is so.
Well,
I feel like somebody needs to tell us. The reason they were charged $500 US.
where that can come from? The judge?
I don't know. You think the judge listening? I don't think so. I don't
To
know.
my point exactly. I think there's probably some conscious decisions being made to give slap on the wrist for these things in order to not discourage future visitors. The problem I'm having though is that we're doing all kind of things to discourage future visitors.
Yeah.
I personally do not care about appeasing future visitors who have intentions of breaching their quarantine, because telling them they only have to pay $500 will not deter them. Because if you could literally be like, $500 small, that's a small thing, I could pay that easily. So you don't care about the repercussions, you don't care about the rest, you don't care about that, the fact that you could put a country back into lockdown and whatever else, you could make people lose money and all of these things. You ain't thinking about that because in your head, $500 is small. So I don't care about appeasing no future visitors who have intentions of doing these kind of things.
No, I don't think.
I feel like we're supposed to be discouraging by using stricter penalties, so then now when they come here, they're supposed to be doing these things because these are the repercussions.
Yeah, I think this
piss me off.
I think this has been the cry since we started having these breaches. As a matter of fact, you see me almost like the more egregious the infraction, the more lapse the penalty is.
Drink some water here before I start to cuss on the ear. For I swear and me supposed to swear.
Look what y'all have done to Gwen. I just want everybody to understand that. This is what you've done
This is not me.
to Jade Gwen Johnson.
I'm not this person. I'm calm and cool. But when y'all do nonsense, y'all just piss me off. This cannot make no sense. This cannot make no sense, Azem. $500 for breaching quarantine after a lockdown? Fresh off a lockdown? I could understand before, like, okay, well, you know, we wasn't seeing, like, serious things happening and all of these things. But after that happened
I could
last week,
I couldn't have I couldn't have seen it even before. And the thing is, for me, is like we had this situation where we had the beach of quarantine, where persons were like literally just going across the beach, and we were all upset, we were all like, outraged and things like this. These people like left up in the mountain, come down in town, catch a ferry, cross the Narrows, drive over the peninsula,
Oh, jeez.
and chilling in a local hotspot.
they told us, you know, remember the first lockdown when they came out and told us how much money in fines they accumulated because of people breaching quarantine and stuff. They were paying $5,000, you know, per person who breached. We had like over $1 million in breach fines. But
I
anybody,
would actually know. I would like to know what that end figure was. Well, if it ever ended, but
people who fly here quarantine decide to move around and then are able to fly out after get to pay $500.
yeah, vibes.
All right,
Yeah, I sorry, I keep saying
that makes sense.
yeah, I don't even like to go down too much in the money vibes because I think at some point the money gonna be inconsequential. I think take away your time.
But I was
away your
expecting
time
to hear like,
and your
yeah, they
freedom.
got two week in
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
something.
yeah, the money thing is ridiculous. But until I see people like literally, you know, being placed, you know, this is something to me. This is past fine.
bruh.
So like I mean even. Yeah.
Alright, different in this country, why? Mingle.
I don't even think it's this country.
Different in even.
But I think I talking
this
about country I hate.
It's a
Yeah.
is a long anyway.
But you say it was two things, Jade.
Yes. It is.
Jade say yes, like you wake up the beast again.
Yeah, I just hear supporting the gear grinding today.
No, I have. Let me start by saying I have no issue with churches and places of worship and all of these things. I think they are essential to people of faith. There must be some place for you to go and worship and, you know, do all these things. However, when you're going to watch me and watch Azem and watch other people in entertainment and tell them no mass gatherings, because we cannot ensure that you guys will be doing it safely. We cannot ensure that you guys will do all the protocols, wear your mask, social distance, and all of these things. But then I get a video with a ram-packed church worshipping in the same manner that seems to and style that seems to replicate a fete. And it is okay because it's a church. I have an issue. when a pastor could go up on the pulpit and say all kind of things, where is it? Me don't understand. With the Christian Council, they don't interject in these things. Or is it fine?
Jade, that is
it fine?
That is
Is
the
it
Christian
me?
Council. You
Like,
can't ask a group of people to criticize themselves.
I thought I
They
was watching a
specialize
fet.
in criticizing others. So
Did you not feel like you were watching a fet, Azem?
Yeah, my issue with this whole thing is that I am not disillusioned. I'm believing that this is the norm. I actually think it's very abnormal.
I do as well. I didn't think it was the norm.
So I don't go and be like churches. No, that particular church.
That's why I said it. This is not a
Right.
slight against churches because I
Right,
don't
right,
usually
right.
see this. But that's why I said when I got that video, I said, no, man.
Yeah. So
This can be.
So my question is at this point, the reason why I am cautious, right, is because I'm waiting. You know why I'm waiting? Because we've had situations like what Jade's saying, where particular events that would have been filmed and brought out, right? Like filmed and gone viral and thing, right? We've seen, and in particular, friend of the show, Cromwell Henry, right? Speak directly to these incidents, you know. Speak directly to these incidents.
Yep.
So I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm waiting to see if we get a similar response in this case. One. The other thing that is concerning for me is we have seen how the actions of specific gatherings have affected the ability for other people to play their trade and to do what they're doing, even though it's not similar, it's in the same thing.
Oh, yes.
It's affected the livelihoods of everybody now because of the actions of a few individuals. So now I just waiting here. I'm waiting to see the response. If we're gonna get a whole section of the briefings dedicated to videos that have gone viral, well, I'm waiting to hear the response to this one here. I waited to hear what the fines were.
Oh.
I waited to hear what the fines
You know,
were. I waited to hear what the regulations are going to do to address it,
yeah.
etc. etc.
For me,
Right.
it's the whole situation. Like, you know, there are many churches that don't operate like this. There are
This is
many
abnormal.
churches
That's what I'm saying. This is abnormal.
You know,
It's abnormal.
yeah, we have lots of churches that, you know, their congregation sits and observes. There are churches that, and I've been to some where you just sit and you know, they've spaced out people, they put their stickers on the chairs, and not just sit here, not to sit here, spread it out. You know, if you're with your family, okay, but you know,
There's a range of worship styles. There's a range of worship
yeah,
styles.
there's a range of different styles.
Yeah.
But this style in particular is very, 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 very similar to those of vets, which are things that have been deemed as mass spreaders because of the nature of the partying. So this entity get a pass because they're grouped with entities that get passes. So what's like,
What are we doing?
As I said, I'm waiting to hear, you know, what's the repercussions, what's the fines, what's happening, because we all saw it.
Yeah, Kevon.
And the thing is, this is not the first time we've seen it.
Right.
That's what I was getting
Kevon.
to.
Yeah, but we have a call on the line. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island Team. What's up?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Jade, put your hand down, Jade. Put your hand down. I'm watching you. Okay. I understand what Jade is saying. You know, I can't fault Jade for feeling the way she feels, because, and I'm sure it's the same church I saw a couple of their videos on Facebook. And honestly, you can't tell whether it's a church or if it's one of small axe gathering. It looks like it's just one of the band having a fete, as all my friends say. And the thing about it is that they don't have on any mask. Where is the mask? Half of them may have on no mask. They just look like it's a big old club and they're just having a grand old fete. Honestly, and like I asked one person one time, what happened when the music stopped? She tell me, I go to church for the music. What happened when the music stopped? It's not about salvation. It's about the music. And a lot of these wishy-washy so-called pastors, it's entertainment for the young people. That's all it is. And church is not a place of entertainment. It's a place to get saved and get your life right with Christ. So, Jade, I understand what you are saying. And the thing about it, they don't have on no mask. A lot of them don't wear no mask. I mean, I go to church. I'm Pentecostal. And Pentecostal, we are worship church. But let me tell you, in this time, we do our distancing. And even though church is open up fully, everybody is fully masked. We're not playing that mess. Everybody is fully masked because I can attest personally, I had COVID. So I know what it feels like to don't have no taste, where everything smells disgusting. So I know how that feels for your body to just be aching you, and there's nothing you can do but ride it out. So I understand what you're saying, Jade, and I understand what I get from what you're saying is that your livelihood is dependent on your gatherings and your events, and y'all are having your events, but the church is having an event, because that just looks like an event to me, a small act, New Vibes or one of those events. That's what that looks like to me. You have a good day.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, like, I don't...
I mean, to be honest, I don't, like, and see, my thing is, I don't have a problem with people's worship style and them thing and whatever. I do believe, though, like, given the present situation, just as other areas, whether it's supermarkets, whether it's restaurants, whether it is mass gatherings of other sorts, have to put things in place given the present situation. And if you do not, then there's consequences. Then yeah, my thing is, though, it can't be nothing done in the dark. You know why? Because we have seen time and time again where examples have been given based on the fact that these videos would have gone viral and things like that, and they felt the need to address it publicly.
Bruh.
Yep.
So this can't be no different.
From the Prime Minister straight down to our friend Mr. Henry, they have all addressed it. So what happened? And this isn't the first video, so it's not like this is a fresh thing, you know. This isn't the first video.
At the end of the day, does it only come as you addressing it? Because you can address it all you want, but what have you done about it?
But that's what we got to hear. If the answer is nothing, then there's a whole other issue.
Yeah, y'all can't tell us that we're not allowed to do these things, but because they're under the guise of a church, it's fine. Like, how that look? How does that look to people who out here cannot make any money, cannot work, have not been able to earn for over a year and a half, but because it's a church, it's okay? No social distancing, no mask, everybody jumping up together and all these things. And again, this is not the first video we've seen. And again, this is not me knocking churches, because again, as we said before, all churches don't do this. But all events don't happen the same. All promoters don't have the same type of events. But we are all punished when an event is deemed out of order or the protocols are broken. We are all punished. So now what's happening?
The double standard exists.
Yeah, I'm waiting, I tell you. I'm waiting.
How long are we waiting? How long for me to come back to Butte?
Next briefing.
Next briefing? Okay.
You gotta be adjusting the next briefing.
Okay.
It has to be adjusted.
And then you know what? There's also so here's another thing for me. So on top of that, if we've seen in the video, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has chosen to make illegal owning camouflage. However, this man was donning a full camouflage suit.
The man say he fighting,
because, you know, so, you know, there's just so many things wrong in this video, and I'm just waiting to hear what was done about it, because, you know, I want to see how far this double standard goes.
All right, different.
Because, you know, because a man will walk down the street and whoever will proudly strip him naked and make him walk home in his underwear, because they need to take his pants.
I think they stopped that.
I don't know if they need his pants to.
I think that
at some point.
It's mostly at the point of import.
Yes, mostly it's more for customs and all of these things. When you're bringing them to customs, they're gone. But the man in here now, the man in a full suit, the camouflage like cartel.
So
I mean, actually, it's the outfit.
He was hot.
Yeah, the outfit was hot. I don't lie.
I tell you, my I can't tell.
I mean, you know, with the black gloves too.
Well, make up yourself, bye.
It was a flex,
But yeah, so I just waited to see, like, because I watching this thing like, okay. And that has been one of my pet peeves when it comes to the whole entertainment thing, where the actions of a minority of events cause ripple effects that affect all events down the line. So I'm just waiting to see.
I don't want to see them more.
So I'm just waiting for the report from friend of the show, the Nation Security Blanket. We've heard presentations from him talking about events that had 10-year-old taking temperature and all them kind of things there. So we're just waiting for the report, man. Trust me.
It is henna, but I slept on it, so it might not look like henna.
It's henna-esque.
It's henna-esque. Big up Z. Henna artistry one time. I know she's mad at me because I fell asleep on my henna, but you know.
What?
Man, you're looking good still, man. You're looking good
4
still.
hours? I had to wait 4 hours before I put it off. Kevon, I like sleep.
Look good to me.
Yeah, man. It ain't too bad. Yeah.
Good to me.
But yeah, I feel like my spirit is in a better place. We will wait to see what will happen. Hopefully, better things, because I know y'all can't. Y'all can't think that we're gonna just ignore these things. Like, we're not an ignore these things show. So fix it. Thanks.
And this is the kind of thing that I've been talking about too, right? We keep talking about personal responsibility and that kind of thing. Like, at some point you're supposed to be in there and going like, something ain't feel right here.
Listen.
Something ain't feel right here.
You in the church jumping up?
I mean,
knowing that every Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever the briefings are, people come out and tell you guys, no mass gatherings without permission, social distance, wear your mask, we're still battling a pandemic,
Ooh.
cases just came back down, all these things.
Let me ask you a question. Because this was a discussion that was very hot, especially early last year. Last year when we first started seeing these things happen, lockdowns and curfews and things like that. Are church gatherings essential?
That's a good question.
So anybody who want to call in and have a discussion, feel free. Also, you guys on the live and thing, we look forward to your comments.
Are church gatherings essential?
This is a church versus state situation.
Not really.
Church and state, because it's not even versus.
It ain't even. I just curious to see how people feel about it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
The reason I don't think so is because there are other avenues for you to be able to worship. We've seen churches adapting the online.
No, but even so, that you still have to get a pass to go. So,
but
for instance,
people have to get a pass to go set up. You mean?
Yeah, like. So okay, for instance, if you're streaming and so, this still has
somebody have to go and attend to do it.
What has been happening has been that they've been given permission for, I think it's up to 10 persons. So similar to like a funeral gathering, that kind of thing. Like but yeah, I'm curious. Are church gatherings essential? I mean, the fact that
the capacity where the church can have over about 150 people inside the church at the same time?
No.
What do you mean?
No. So, the fact that we're allowed to facilitate or accommodate online services, right? To me, that signals that the powers that be believe that the church services are essential.
You're a Christian state. Of course, it's essential to them.
Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Greetings, Island T.
Morning.
Okay. Me just tune in and me hear sound there. Explain it to me now. Explain the video there, the circulating video to me now, please.
So basically, there's a video floating around from a church. The church is operating. The people are worshipping in a way which looks similar to a fest.
It doesn't adhere to social distancing protocols.
Nope, no mask, no social
No mask,
distancing.
no distancing.
Everybody just jumping up together.
So, to put it quite simple, jumping up. Everybody jumping up together and jamming in the church.
Okay. In our camouflage, everything.
Oh, no, that's not camouflage.
One person. And this is a recently dated video?
Fresh.
Yes.
Fresh video. Well, it's more than double standard, you know. The numbers them, we're going to see numbers increasing. They're going to go up to triple and, you know, etc. Because, you know, the donkey said the world on level. And as one in the studio said, let's wait and see what the responses will be towards this. And if we see responses or hear responses that do not please us, then we know we have to just be consistent with our, you know, our protest in whatever way we protest concerning these matters. Because we have to be observant, you know. And talking about observance, I am appealing to the folks in St. Kitts and Nevis to observe the Spanish communities very keenly. Very keenly. Someone told me that there are certain things going on in terms of work, in terms of the workforce. Someone say something to me concerning the Spanish community. I want people to be very observant concerning this, and I will say no more for now. Give thanks for all the information flowing in Island T.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, King.
Thank you very much, Carl.
We got another call on the line. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Yes, good morning again. To the question, yes, the church is very important. The church is the salt of the earth. The true believers of God is the salt of the earth, the light of the world. The day that go dim. The day the church that go dim. But because we're the church, that don't mean you don't observe the law and the rules. Because, you know, a lot of people say, this thing COVID, you know, when I look at it, I say, man, we're our greatest destruction. Because man is who come up with this thing. And even COVID affects the church also, the body. It affects the people. Because I can attest to that. Because in my church here in Connecticut, we had about, it took one member. One member came in church, and wherever he went, I don't know if he got it from his work, came and a choir member, affected choir members, and from that it was like a rolling domino. So this thing COVID, we have to really, you know, pin your guard up. But the church is essential. It is very important. We're the light of the world, the salt of the earth. The church is very much needed because remember, the day the church, God moved his church, take his church, remember the Antichrist is coming after the church is gone, so the church is essential. Remember, a lot of people, it's because of God's people why he has not cracked the sky yet. It's because there's still some people out there that God knows that's supposed to be in that number, that's supposed to be saved. Why he has not cracked the sky? When we look at all the things that is going on around us, we need the church, the true church. Okay?
I think you might be misunderstanding what the question was.
No, you said that the church is essential.
No. Church services. So in other words, for instance, just like if there's a hurricane, and the hurricane come on Saturday or Sunday, there's no service, right? There's no service. For instance, police officers still have to report, nurses still have to report, etc., because they are considered essential, right? But that don't necessarily happen with the churches. with services. So that's what I'm asking. I'm asking about the services in particular. So for instance, we had a lockdown of like 2 weeks, right? The churches were allowed to operate to some extent virtually, right?
Yeah.
So I mean I think that signals that they're considered essential. But does the essentialness of the church service itself change depending on what's happening?
So what, in other words, what you're saying is that is it important for them to give the church the leeway, like to go in and do the Zoom? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm just saying that was a discussion. So the discussion initially, when we first lockdown, was, are church services essential? Nobody's questioning the importance of the church and the role that it plays in society. So that's what I was getting. That's what I was getting at.
Well, come back to it. It's essential for. It's essential for. Remember, you have people different levels in their faith, in their walk with Christ, and some people, if they don't get that little word, they easily slip back. So in a sense, it's essential. It's essential.
All right, then, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah. And the thing is, I think that different churches handle this a little different. I know one church in particular, they did, because of the community spread, they did not have services. But what they did was on their streaming platforms, streamed past services. So instead of having people come to the sanctuary, they would have streamed past services on the platforms. So yeah, I mean it's just interesting to see how that discussion plays out.
Somebody is saying, in my view, the churches are dead and may have been intimidated by the local authorities, led by the Prime Minister, who uses his visits to control them.
What?
You ask a question, the people answer.
What the answer?
The answer was, in my view, the churches are dead and have been intimidated by the local authorities, led by the Prime Minister, who uses his visits to control them.
I'm so lost.
You ask a question again, the person give his answer.
Yes, and I'm responding to the answer. But good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up?
Good morning, lady. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I want to say thank you for the program. And first of all, I want to say that I know enough to know that I don't know enough. And so, having said that, by listening to the statements that you were making concerning the video that you have seen, I have not seen it, but I just want to add to it that when it comes to camouflage, there are some camouflage that are not attached to our system. I'm not sure how the law was written, whether it's saying all camouflage, but there are some camouflage that are not recognized by our enforcement system, and so we don't use those in St. So I'm not sure if they're okay or if they're not.
Well, I mean, when it comes to importing, sir, like even red and this snow camouflage, those are also generally in breach. Yeah, they consider them in breach.
And his was very close to the camouflage one here.
Well,
Full head to toe.
Not really, because you realize our security forces don't actually wear camouflage.
Which is my whole thing anyway.
Yeah, but yeah.
They have camouflage, which is green and some plastic color with coil and so on, and background of forest green and so on. But, so I just want to put that part in the discussion. However, having said that, the other thing is that when it comes to the COVID, one of the things that bothered me is that you are vaccinated. I'm not saying that you. Let's say I'm vaccinated. I have the full vaccination. And what actually happened is that it appears as if there is a separation from those who are vaccinated from those who are not vaccinated. And the lady mentioned so much about the Bible, but she forgot that the wheat and the tares will grow together until the day of harvest. And so therefore, at the same time, there are some companies who decide that they don't want to have any employee who are not vaccinated, only those who are vaccinated. But on the other hand, they're taking the services and the business from those who are not vaccinated. Same money, same spending, and all that. The other thing is that why is it that you want to drive away those who cannot be vaccinated or who don't want to be vaccinated? Because if you drive them away, where are you going to send them? What are you going to do with them? They're part of us. the protocol that we have had before any vaccine came into play, which we had a good motto going. Wear your mask, sanitize your hands, and we had a good program going before that. What happened to that? Can that apply to those who cannot be vaccinated? Are those who fail to be vaccinated? Are we something like a slave to his master? So the master say, do this, and we say, yes, master, yes, master. Your body belongs to you. You have a job. This morning, a lady walking and to a job place, and the boss said, well, come in my office and have sex with me now, else you have a job. I mean, it's her body. She must decide what she wants to do with it. And so does everyone who vaccinated. And then you're going to say, well, other people have their body, they decide if they want to fix you or work with you either. But we have to work with these people because there's those people who will not be able to be vaccinated. We have to drive the force, follow the protocols, have your distance, sanitize your hands, and wear your mask. Because there's some people who will not be vaccinated. And if they mix with other people and they get the COVID, they will have to suffer the consequence of the action. But don't push them aside because they are part of us and they are very productive. There are some people in working place who have been vaccinated and they don't produce. And there are people who are not vaccinated. When they sit behind the desk, they give you what you're looking for. So once you're getting what you want, the production that you need, and the people are following the protocol, just don't be more stressed to those people because it's stressful enough. We're pointing fingers at each other rather than encouraging and helping each other. You're not vaccine, you're vaccine. Come on, where are we separating? Where are we fighting each other? And the way the church is going on and the way the churches are acting up and putting all these rules and regulation and all that, Christianity is not a religion. It's a person. It's in the of Jesus Christ. And only men put all the laws and regulation to it. But all the regulation are written in your mind and you know when you're doing wrong or right. You know if you thief or you lie or you cheat or whatever you do. You know what you're doing.
Okay, caller, thank you so much for your input.
Have a good day. I know you're ready to go.
You as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
yeah,
I think we just like for me and this, the reason why I'm saying like I'm waiting is because the truth is I really don't expect any. And I think that would say a lot.
You don't expect what?
I don't expect any public yeah. Justice must not only be done, it must also be seen to be done. So let's see.
Amen. Amen. Anyway,
that was a good pun, Jade.
Yeah, I know. Well, Kevon, I guess before we jump into the break, I think we should give the nation their COVID update.
But of course.
We're screwed! No, we're not.
COVID updates.
Yeah? Okay.
So, have no
we should
fear,
just make that a COVID update for now.
So here is your COVID-19 situation report number 489 for Wednesday, 29 as of 6 p.m. Confirmed cases within the last 24 hours, so 4. Active cases, we have 42. Total number of cases since the beginning of the pandemic, 582. Recovered cases at 537. Number of cases between St. Kitts and Nevis. For St. Kitts, we have 562. Nevis, we have 20. And death toll is at 3. So, we see those active case numbers going down.
Yes, as they should.
But keep in mind that because they're going down, don't mean that their numbers being added to it. Because if 10 recover and we get 4 more cases, it's going to go down, but it also kind of went up. So let's not just think that we just need to wait for these 42 people to recover because, there's people going, it's the numbers are swapping. So continue to wear your mask, continue to keep your distance, continue to be safe, sanitary. If you're not able to do that, stay home.
Yeah, but Kevon, we have a caller. Caller, good morning. What's up?
Doing good, man.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, the previous caller made a lot of sense about, comparing and talking about the vaccine. But for me, I would just say the church. I don't think the church is essential. That's why they shut them down in the first place when the pandemic started. And you know, I was listening to a Bob Marley interview the other day, and he said all these regulation and rules, they're all illegal because they're all put here by man. So I know the narrative is going to change going forward concerning mandating the vaccine because it's already started. Google, Facebook, the NFL, you know, these are big conglomerates that's already going to require the employees to be vaccinated when they're coming back. So you guys going to got to expect that this debate is going to get more heated. And from what I'm seeing, the employees are not going to win because there already been one or two cases, one down in Curacao, and there been a case in Texas in the hospital, and the employer has already, the court already upheld those cases in favor of the employers. So going forward, that narrative and that debate is going to get more heated about mandating the vaccine. Also, the mayor of New York, they're requiring all city workers to be vaccinated, and Biden is considering that for federal employees as well in the United States. So just expect that debate is going to get more heated. And the big companies, man, with that big money, you know how it is with money, man. Money rule and run things around here. But, you know, you guys keep up the good work, and that's my contribution, man.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Carla.
Wait, what fake money? What fake money? Did I miss something?
I think a lot was missed.
Because...
In general, by everyone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm confused.
It happens.
Yeah. It happens. I'm super
It happens,
confused.
it happens,
like,
it happens, it
what fake
happens.
money? It's some, we gotta be with me something.
No,
I feel like we missed something.
It happens, I tell you. It happens.
Okay, well, you know, on that note, we have 5 minutes. Y'all talk amongst yourselves here because I got
You know, like when those teachers, you know, the teachers finish teaching and they're gonna just the teachers like, okay, go in groups and talk.
Bye.
Talk about what we just learned.
Yeah, y'all go amongst yourselves and discuss because I am lost to all.
Oh boy. But yeah, I think these are discussions that need to be had because at the end of the day, the main thing is trying to keep people safe, right?
Yeah.
Trying to keep people safe.
That's not the main thing.
And in a manner that shows respect, right? A manner that is mindful of people's needs, positions, religion, all of this, right? Health situation. I think these solutions and these are discussions that need to be had. So I'm waiting to see what the discussions will lead to.
And they better discuss it, you know.
Yeah.
They better had discuss it.
And again, I think we're talking about anomalies. We're talking
about anomalies need to be
right. No, because you don't want to then encourage similar behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out what is the way forward, and the way forward must be seen by everyone so that everyone understands what the expectations are. I mean, most of the churches, I look at a lot of the online streams on Sundays, right?
And the children.
And most of the churches, even down to the worship teams, you see the teams they're socially distanced. You see, as some churches go as far as to have someone sanitize the mic every time somebody uses it. So you have, the vast majority of churches try their best to keep the congregants safe.
Then we just have a whole jam session.
So when you have persons who may not be paying the same amount of attention, then that's something that needs to be addressed.
And you know what's funny to me? the fact that this is a church that it's streamed, videotaped, whatever it is, they know that these things will come out, you know?
Jade.
Because this is a customary thing for
Jade,
them.
we got to understand. When you are, right? But you can't a punk in the war, you.
But yeah.
You studying more street.
Alright, different boy. Alright, alright, different. All I'm going to say is, right?
All I can say is, big up my boy. My boy doesn't make me laugh. Friend of the show, he's been here.
One thing I can tell you is I know I'm making a hell. I know I'm making a hell.
I mean, so Jade, the question, you ain't going.
I'm
Going.
good. I good. We good.
But Jade, you have to answer the question.
What?
If you ain't going, who going?
Well, if he ain't going, the man going. So I don't know who going, but I ain't be.
Because if somebody has to go,
man going. Ain't nowhere.
if somebody have to,
That's the standard now.
Watch you. When I see that video, say good. Ain't I good?
We got like wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We good as him.
I mean, I would hope so, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that type of
The standard ain't too high, you know? The standard ain't too high. So we good. Yeah.
Wow.
Regina, we did give the COVID update. Kevon? Kevon, go ahead. Let's go to a break.
Jade is out there condemning people. Jade is out there condemning people all day. Like, what's going on?
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'm done.
Oh boy.
Before y'all lock off the way they're done.
Well, Jade, let's take a short break.
Yes.
We're coming back. We have some friends in studio with us.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned, stay locked to Island T right here with Media SKN. We'll be right back.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Good morning and welcome back to Island Tea right here on WINNMedia SKN. And in the studio, we have a very special guest, Norman Rollins. He's here from the Inland Revenue Department. How are you, sir?
Hi, good morning. I'm good.
Nice. So what's happening at the Inland Revenue Department?
Well, good morning to Radio Land and both those listening in St. Kitts and in the diaspora. Our aim today is basically to remind persons that the tax is due.
Very important.
Very, very important. The normal due date is June the 30th, but because of COVID and the recent spikes in COVID cases in St. Kitts, the deadline or the due date was extended to the 30th of July 2021. We're also here to remind people of the many ways they can pay the property tax. Of course, the most obvious is standing in the line at Inland Revenue. We're trying to discourage persons.
Who does that?
We're trying to discourage persons from doing that. And instead, for those who are tech savvy or even those who have a cell phone, we're encouraging them to use online. There's also those who live in overseas that can actually post their checks or their bank draft, or they could drop it off if you live here. Then we have the National Bank platform. You could actually pay through National Bank. And then the one that we have for the past couple of years, but persons still are not using as often, is the online. You could actually sign up, get an account, and pay your taxes online. And just recently, because of the recent complaints of the general public and also forced by COVID, we decided to introduce something online, but easier. It's almost like you're paying for something on eBay as a guest. So we call it Quick Pay. And basically you go on our website, www.sknird.com, and click on the Quick Pay tab. Then you would just basically enter your property ID number, your tax account number, hit pay, and basically then enter your credit card number. It's fast, it's easy, anyone can do it. So we're encouraging persons to use that avenue, Quick Pay, on our website, www.sknird.com. We are also encouraging persons who have tax bills. Let's say you might owe about $200 for the year, and either you would have lost your job or you don't have the $200 right now. We're encouraging you to come in the office and sit down with one of our collectors and work out a payment plan such that you can pay off the tax within at least a couple months. It depends on your financial situation, and of course, it's at the discretion of the collection officer to get a plan that works for you. We are also saying to persons out there who would have recently built, at least for the last year, to call and make an appointment for us to measure your property. This year, we have received some information from the physical planning, and that is we have received a report from all the building inspectors. So those persons out there who would have built and we didn't get around to them, we now have the information at hand. We are now sharing information or receiving information from government departments involved or related to property. So we're using that list to collect all the properties that were not surveyed, especially the most recent ones last year and 2 years ago. So we're encouraging persons or reminding persons that they should call the office if there's a change in the condition or the structure of the property. But if you don't do that, then we have the information at hand. So we're going to be out in the fields in the next couple of months to collect those new properties. I'm encouraging persons out there to call 465-8485, extension 3463, 3464, 3469 if they have any problems or issues related to property tax. As I said before, we have launched Quick Pay just because of the complaints of persons with the fact that the online platform that we already have was a bit tedious and difficult to deal with. And basically because of COVID as well, we decided to make it easier.
Even more convenient.
Correct. And even we expect a large crowd tomorrow and today, because tomorrow is basically the deadline for wheel tax, all those end with 7.
Right.
And it's also the deadline for property tax. So we are exploring, while persons are in the line, to ask them to use their cell phone, go online on Quick Pay, perforate, and they can actually, in the case of the wheel tax, they can collect the sticker right after.
Right
so
there.
they could go do their rounds in town, come back, collect the sticker, and in the case of property tax, you already have something printed on your phone. You'll basically get a receipt in the mail. So we're exploring that option instead of having persons in the hot sun, in all that heat, because we don't have any tents or anything in that area. And also, it would take them less time, and they could do it while they're in town doing their rounds. So as I said, we're encouraging persons. Simple, go on www.sknird.com, click on Quick Pay, and then basically it would guide you as to what fields need to be filled out. Once you have your tax bill or your demand notice in front of you, it'll be very easy to complete that pay. Probably should take you like a minute to finish that transaction.
I mean, this is something that is very timely, given all the factors that you outlined. And really hope that more and more people take advantage of all this amazing stuff that the IRD is putting in place. I know a few friends who would have done it recently and would have really, appreciated the fact that they were able to not only do it quick and whatever, but also just the fact that it's 24 hours a day.
Correct.
So someday you get home from work, you deal with it. You don't have to rush into town, try to get there by whatever time. So it really adds a new dimension for people trying to pay their taxes at the IRD.
And I think we also recognize that some of these taxes, driver's license, wheel tax and property tax, for example, with the driver's license, you do it every 3 years. With the wheel tax, you do it every year. And with property tax, you do it every year. Now, who wants to sign up for an account in that case and have to remember their password?
Right,
so,
once a year.
Once a year. So we created something that's easy, like a guest checkout. You basically pay for whatever, and, you get your receipt or your confirmation, and then we would deliver. In the case of the driver's license, you come to the office. In the case of the wheel tax, you come to the office as well.
Get your sticker,
Yeah, so it's quite a convenient way.
Yeah, definitely. And you're actually going to encourage the general public to ask questions, correct?
Correct.
All right, so guys, feel free to call in and ask your questions. It's Jade.
It is 662-0989.
And 762-0989.
Yes, and 465-0989. Yes. Or you can ask on our lives. You can ask via YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, so those of you who are watching online, feel free to ask questions and things. What has been the feedback, the over the past year, I would say, there's been a real effort by the Inland Revenue Department to really incorporate technology into what you guys have been doing. What's been the feedback so far?
Well, most persons appreciate it, especially those from overseas.
For sure.
This year and last year, we are unable to send any bills out to the UK, and only the US basically and its territories we could send bills out. So those persons really benefit and appreciate the fact that they can sit by a computer and basically pay their taxes without even having to receive a bill.
Yeah, we have a call on the line. Caller, good morning, and live with Inland Revenue Department.
Morning.
Good morning.
The gentleman said instead of come to Inland Revenue, you can pay in National Bank. But it's the same thing, like Inland Revenue, you just have to wait in line outside and then wait in line inside. So, speak to that, please.
Yeah.
You could for that caller, you could basically pay online. To National Bank.
To the National Bank.
Instead of standing in the line, you could pay online. As a merchant, you could add us as a merchant and pay your taxes.
Oh, okay. So it's just another. So it might be actually a platform that somebody might be familiar with already.
Correct.
And okay.
Correct. Because there are lots of persons out there who pay their bills, their electricity bills and what's not through National Bank. So you could just pay us through that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I think there's different ways to interact with the Inland Revenue Department. Definitely is welcome. We have another call on the line. Caller, good morning. You're live with the Inland Revenue Department. Sorry.
Good morning. Carlton DuPont.
Morning.
I want to say thanks to the folks at Inland Revenue. I've realized over the past years they have improved not a little bit. The Inland Revenue Department have improved a lot over the last 5 or 6 years or so. Not just, maybe I shouldn't say 5 or 6 years because I'm a Unity supporter, it will sound like the 6 years Unity get in. That's the only time they improve. No, So let's say for years now, the Inland Revenue Department continue to improve. And I want to say thanks very much to them for improving their system so the people of this country can enjoy a better way. And let me say to people in St. Kitts and Nevis, you must feel good to pay your taxes, because your taxes will make sure that the country infrastructure, hospital, police station and everything continue to run to keep this country as nice as it is now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, caller. As I said earlier, for those persons who recently built, they receive just to let them know, they receive a 1 year exemption from taxes on the building. So for all those buildings out there built this year, they're not going to pay taxes on the building. Just food for thought for them. But however, next year you're expected to pay taxes on the building. So we're encouraging persons to come in, inform us again that there is a building. If you don't inform us, as I said, we have the information already, so you're not going to get away. Because we are going back into the field as soon as everything clears up at the office with regards to our policy with field surveillance. So we're basically getting ready to go back out to survey all those properties that we missed, or all those properties, who had exemptions because they were recently built, and we now need to add them to the tax net.
Nice. We have people online, congratulating you guys at the IRD for modernizing the payment systems. That seems to be something that you guys are getting kudos for on the live. So
as they should, because it's important. And
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Shows that they are an evolving company.
Yeah, and I want to really again echo the sentiments of Mr. Rollins, because we really want to encourage people to take advantage of these opportunities. Online. I mean, sometimes I go and I see the lines down at Inland Revenue Department, and I really like the idea of perhaps even when people come, helping them walk through the process. Sometimes it could be a little intimidating for some people. So even as they come, having somebody there who may be able to, go through the crowd and kind of, ask if there's anybody who would like to get some assistance. I think that might go a long way, even moving forward. So, again, kudos to you guys for all you're doing in terms of modernizing the interaction.
Well, with regards to that, we have two persons at the front of the office. And those persons are basically similar to what, a person would do at the door of a Hilton hotel.
Concierge?
Yes. They would basically just ask you what you're here to do, what business you're here to do, and to guide you through the process, such that at least, you understand what you have to do, and, basically understand how to complete the form. And we could even guide you as to how to complete the transaction. So we already have something like that in place. It's always good to take suggestions and to improve the process, but as for now, we have that in place.
Nice. So again, guys, just a reminder for those persons, it's the wheel tax as well as the
property tax
that is due. So organize yourself. Organize yourself.
Don't let the month run down on you. It's almost done.
One of the things we also realized, and I need to mention, in 2018, I think it was, or 19, we had over the years we have seen an increase in the compliance. I think 2018 we were at 51%. 2019 we would have improved. And then 2020 came along and we took a hit.
Right, for sure.
Because even though we had the website and you could sign up to pay online, persons were experiencing some serious problems signing up. So in 2021, we figured in order to improve our numbers in terms of persons paying, we would, basically create quick pay, something easy and reliable, such that we could get the compliance rate back up to over 50%.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning. You're live with Inland Revenue Department.
Yes, I would like to know what the penalties for paying late, and if it's per month or per annum, the penalty. Thanks.
Okay, to that caller, the penalty for late payment is a one-time 10% penalty. However, there is also an interest of 1% per month in addition to that 10% penalty. So we are encouraging persons to comply and pay before. As I said, we have all the avenues you could think about. So we are encouraging persons to use the online platform, Quick Pay, to pay their taxes.
Now let the penalty catch your people.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we really appreciate you guys coming and taking the time to just, inform the public about what's happening, things that are due. But quickly, you want to just, before you leave, any last words?
Okay. Just want to encourage the general public to use the National Bank platform to make payment. It's quick, it's easy. You could do it similar to how you do the payment of your utility bills and other bills. We are pushing more this year, the Quick Pay. Quick Pay is here to stay, and Quick Pay is the easy way. So we're encouraging persons to log on to www.sknird.com, click on the tab Quick Pay, enter your property ID number, enter your tax account number, hit pay, and basically enter your credit card information. It's easy, it's quick, and you could actually beat the line by paying online. If you have any issues, contact 465-8485, 465-8485, extension 3463, 3464, 3469, 3470. Those are 4 numbers you can call if you have any issues or any problems. We are also encouraging persons with the larger bills or those who may not be employed at this time to not put the bill under your bed. We're encouraging you to come in and sit down with a collector, work out a payment plan that suits your financial situation, and to make payment. Remember, Kittians and Divisions, there is no such thing as a free lunch. All the mandates of the government, all the things that the government do for this country are paid for. Most of them, if not all, are paid for via taxes. So we're encouraging persons to comply and to ensure that they pay the taxes by July the 30th, this Friday, tomorrow.
All right, cool. We actually have a instructional video of some sorts to play, which kind of gives some information about the Quick Pay as well. So we'll play that. But thank you so much for coming in and joining us. Really appreciate it, guys. Go out, be compliant. Do what you have to do, avoid the penalties. As Mr. Rollins said, there's so many ways for you to interact with the Inland Revenue Department now. So get on it and do what you have to do. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, thanks.
Unmute.
Quick and easy steps. Anyone can pay for the renewal of their driver's license online with QuickPay. Step 1. Visit the official website of IRD at www.sknird.com and click the QuickPay link on the homepage. Step 2. Enter your tax identification number and personal information into the required fields. Step 3. Enter your email address and contact number, then upload your expired driver's license and one other form of ID into the required fields. Step 4. Click I am not a robot, then click Pay Now, and you will be redirected to the payment gateway to finalize the payment. And you're all done. For more information, contact the Inland Revenue Department at 1-869-465-8485 or send us an email at inlandrevenue@ird.gov.kn.
I have a surprise for mosquito, roach and flies. Pop makes all of them die. Don't bother with the long chat, Pop tell you why. Pop makes all of them die. To take care of my premises, I have to stand guard. Pop kill insects, small or large. When me use my yard, me no need no bodyguard. Pop takes care of roach in a house and yard. Surprise for mosquito, roach and flies. Pop makes all of them die. Don't bother with the long chat, Pop tell you why. Get serious, get bop.
Like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/ramsupermarket. Follow us on Twitter, www.twitter.com/ramsupermarket. And subscribe to us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/ramsupermarket.
Staying healthy has taken on a whole new meaning these days. So we ask, why do you put your health first?
As a business professional, I need to make the most out of my work days.
I'm a teacher, and I want to be there for my students.
In sports, I have to be in top form for my team.
Motherhood, I just got to keep up with my kids.
Because my patients rely on me to be at my best.
Staying healthy is important for many of us, and Hanley Orange makes it easy. Just one 1,000 milligram tablet of vitamin C gives your immune system a flavorful boost, leaving you protected and feeling good for the day ahead. Hanley Orange Vitamin C. Just pop the cap, drop it in water, let it fizz, and enjoy. Part of the Hanley Orange family.
Good morning. Welcome back to Island Tea right here on WINNMedia SKN. It's Thursday, July 29th, and the time is now 9:25 a.m.
Already.
We just had our friends from the Inland Revenue Department.
Information.
Yeah, bye.
See how this pandemic pushed everything online?
I wish I had property tax to pay now on all of EZB. But if I only had property, wow.
Oh wait, sorry. Before we continue, Witty, yes, there's actually video. It's on the Inland Revenue St. Kitts and Nevis page. You can hop over there and look at the video for the instructional audio that you just heard.
Yeah, and that's on YouTube. St. Kitts and Nevis Inland Revenue Department is the page. And what's the name? Tell her the name of the video as well. Have you tried QuickPay?
Yes.
Yes. Have you tried QuickPay is the name of the video.
Very straightforward.
Oh, lots of nice graphics and everything.
I think all the grinding gears this morning kick out Kevon. So.
You're going some gear now. You're going some gear for real. But
yeah, I feel later.
In other news, crop and livestock production up by 44%.
Oh, look at that.
Is the reports that we are getting.
Look at that.
So we've been talking about the need for food to bolster food security, and there's been things put in place. As part of a stimulus package offered because of the economic fallout of the coronavirus pandemic, $15 million was earmarked to boost agriculture and food production. The Ministry of Agriculture also secured additional lands for farming, and there is a temporary waiver on water bills for registered farmers, among other offerings. The investment in agriculture has returned dividends during the period January to May 2021. The dollar value of crop and livestock production rose by 44%, from $3.6 million in 2020 to $5.2 million in 2021, said Prime Minister Big Timo during his press conference earlier this month. In that address, Dr. Harris reported a 27% increase in crop output and a 90% increase in livestock over that period. Ron Dublin-Collins, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, during the broadcast of Leadership Matters on July 27th, gave further updates on how the ministry is supporting local farmers. He said our boar growth breeding program organized breeding activities to effect genetic improvement within our livestock. Some 25 boar goats, female goats, will be made available to livestock farmers in a handing over ceremony, which will happen in Parsons. We have had some production initiatives that have been implemented as of, well, it would have been tomorrow, which is July 28th. 1,000 coconut seedlings will be made available to the Department of Agriculture.
Amen.
For the outreach centers and distribution to farmers. A number of citrus plants are being sourced for production, including limes, lemons, tangerine, oranges, and grapefruits. 15,000 pineapple seedlings are expected shortly and will be distributed to all farmers. Some 6 acres of papaya seeds will be planted by farmers throughout the 3 districts in St. Kitts, and this will commence shortly. In July 2021, 51 farmers were approved for assistance from the Farmer Assistance Program, including agricultural imports and building materials.
Good things, I tell you.
I mean, one of the things that is being discussed really is with this increased production, what about the necessary facilities to sell the items?
Yeah.
And as part of this state of emergency, vendors were relocated from the roadside pavement, makeshift stalls, and personal tents to the public market on the Bay Road. The market is now open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and the stall fees have been waived.
What you saying, friend?
Mm-hmm.
Good things, man.
Collins reported 10 small stalls within the facility are available for craft vendors, 14 small stalls available with provisions for meat and fish vendors. One of the big concerns, of course, has been one of the big concerns has been the infrastructure of the market, and he did mention that there's plans to make some improvements. And we also talked about different places that have now been
used.
Yeah, to facilitate the vendors.
And you know, funny enough, you said that yesterday. I was speaking to one of my friends, and I was told that the Amina Craft Market is actually up for vendors who sell like clothing and jewelry and all of that. And I was like, that's a very good idea.
I mean, that's why he was there.
Yes, it was, but it wasn't utilized.
No, because they left.
Oh, yikes!
Because they left, so they want to be in there. But yes, I think here this feels a lot like here we go again. Hopefully, this is something that could work for all involved, and we could have persons really taking advantage of these opportunities. One of the things though that I really hope to see is with this increased production, I really hope to see more people eating local.
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Like, I know you can't get everything local, but as much as you can get, as much as you can try to get, indulge in some local delicacies. You like coconut water?
Say that again?
You love coconut water?
Yes.
Okay. There's people that don't like coconut water?
Those people are psychopaths.
I agree. I fully hold. You know what Megan said on the air? In case somebody's eating currently, but they say it tastes like warm moisture in your mouth.
What?
They say it tastes like warm spit. I know. It's weird, but that's what I've heard.
No, I mean, I've heard people describe some foods that I love, and sometimes you have to really wonder, like, is it me or is it you? But most likely
feel like it's you.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah,
most likely it's you.
I don't feel like it's me.
I've heard somebody describe like Alfredo pasta in ways that I would not repeat on here because I'm planning to get some Alfredo today. But
you deserve.
I really looked at that person differently since then.
Somebody asked if the Amina Craft Market has a roof. Where the roof gone?
No,
It went somewhere?
It really didn't have a roof, Jade.
I'll have to look up next time I walk across. It didn't have a roof. You're gonna need one.
But that would be good. But bear in mind that a lot of the sidewalks don't have roofs either. Yeah, so I mean, it's all a work in progress. I believe that if people make requests that could really improve, just the conditions at the market as well. I think that is because something. If I got to use this thing here again, say, hey, we need proper running water, we need
bathroom facilities,
these things. Like so it's all a work in progress. I think the goal is to have somewhere where persons could know, hey, here's a place I could go here's a place
I can get
where the
fresh produce.
vendors could feel safe. I think even things like security should be put in place.
I agree.
You have a lot of people there with they
with money.
With money.
Yes.
Yeah, and money that they really depend on.
That's where y'all should.
What? What? Say it, Jade.
That's why y'all should send the armed forces with the M16s.
For the M16s on that Brimstone Hill? Okay.
On that note, let's jump into some conversation with our guest, because as I'm going down a path there that I don't want to follow today, I feel like I've already ached out. You missed your opportunity, so, you know.
What?
Yeah,
What?
you should have done that at 8 this morning when I did.
I didn't have any going to get grace to grind, you know.
Okay, cool.
I was
Well,
giving you enough space for you to grind all you wanted to grind.
and I think we did that. So
Well,
it's time to talk to our guest.
Yeah, you did some grinding.
Listen, you know why I'm so excited for this interview?
Tell me.
Because you know my favorite thing to watch.
Oh my gosh. Jade, this is probably right up your alley.
Listen, I am so excited because I am addicted to true crime, and I feel like if anybody could tell me about true crime, it's our guest. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Island Tea.
I don't introduce the man to the people,
I feel like you should do it.
What?
Yeah, I feel like you should do it. This is a very special guest, you know? And I cannot be the only person excited for this.
I can do it. I can do it. But guys, we have joining us today on Island Tea for Eat Local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
He's a very special guest, like I'm saying. His name is Ciaran Phillip. Ciaran, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Glad to be here. Nice to have the invitation to speak on Island Tea.
Yeah, man, for sure. And thank you for taking the time out to come and join us. Really appreciate you doing that, man. Son of the soil, like definitely somebody who a lot of us may have interacted with in some way, and somebody who I personally admire based on his willingness to make decisions that may not be as popular. And we'll talk about some of that today. Make you and tell the people a bit about yourself shortly and what it is that you do.
Well, I am from St. Kitts. I just want to let everybody know that I repping for Uptown. Upper Monkey Hill is where my family is from, St. Peter's. You know, and you know, as somebody from a small island, I've lived in a lot of different places, but I've always known that my home is St. Kitts and Nevis. And, you know, it's really what inspired me and drove me into the career that I have today. You know, I've always wanted to be a scientist. I told my mother I was going to be a scientist at 4 years old. And, you know, my lifelong dream is really to open up a forensic science laboratory on St. Kitts in particular. And I've done a lot of work in forensic science. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry from the University of the Virgin Islands and a master's degree in forensic science from Virginia Commonwealth University. I spent 1 year at Virginia Commonwealth University doing research. And so I had a nice little research project under my belt. And then when I finished there, I was able to get a job with the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. That was during the time of PEP, actually. November 2013, I started as a PEP intern doing crime scene work. And then in February 2014, I was fortunate to be hired full-time by the government as the first civilian who was a crime scene investigator for the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. So I worked there up until September 2019. And now I live in Canada's best city, the city of Toronto. Been living here since, you know, in 2019, August, around then. So really trying to make it now and trying to let people know that good things come out of St. Kitts and Nevis.
For sure. And that's it, guys. You could no. But he just summarized his entire like professional career in like 2 minutes. Like that is a skill. But you know, it's so interesting to hear you say that even at a young age, you knew that this path is what you wanted to go down.
Because a lot of people will never ever decide, you know what, let me do this type of work for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you said a scientist, so you know you had a love and a passion for science, right? When did you discover the field of forensic science in particular?
Well, like many people, you know, well, maybe not really like Jade, but Like many people, I liked watching television shows that was around crime and what's not. My father was actually a big fan of Law and Order, the original Law and
Wait up, me,
Order.
Ali. We speaking.
And then the original CSI came out. We were living in England at the time. This is around 2002, 2003. Around that time, the original CSI came out, and I was really drawn to that because I saw science being used for people. It was something that was very practical. It was something that was very applicable to real life. So I thought, this is definitely what I have to do. This is how I want to use, my skills and my knowledge. So that really sparked the interest for me. And from that moment on, I really started to be strategic about getting into forensic science, specifically. Because before that, I do remember my mother would ask me, as I was getting older, what type of scientist do you want to be? And I really had no idea. I didn't know what in science I was good at. So it took some time to discover that. And definitely, these television shows, they inspire a lot of people.
Right. And it's interesting to hear that when you did come back to St. Kitts, that you were actually the first person to be hired in that particular role, the first civilian to be hired in that particular role here. Does that speak to the fact that that is an area that really needs development here in St. Kitts?
Well, it speaks to the fact that at that point in time, it was just really fortunate for me, that this kind of development was going to happen. Because previous to that, you had really been getting more and more training for police officers to really work in these specific roles, doing crime scene investigation and all the ancillary tasks that come around that. But, to have somebody who had an interest specifically in forensic science or even crime scene investigation, to have somebody who was not a police officer come in, to work out there in the field doing this, that was a big thing. And that was really the start of some ongoing developments that have been happening in the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force. You want to bring in civilians at that level, specifically train them to do this work so that, you have this separation between what police officers need to do, and what can happen in terms of the forensic science and the physical evidence, especially as it goes on to court.
Well, I mean, what I'd like you to do though is for people like me, who is even more civilian than you, right? Explain to us exactly what it is that that job entails. Like we talk about crime scene investigation, and forensic science. Tell us a bit about what that actually entails.
Well, crime scene investigation specifically is all about going to locations where you believe you might find evidence of criminal activity, and you want to be able to identify, document, and collect physical evidence that could help you support the findings of criminal activity. So that's really what it's about, and you want to be able to identify it using several different means. Sometimes you might just be able to see, broken glass. Then for sure it's a break-in. But it's not all about what you can see, because there's a lot of stuff that you can't see with the naked eye at least. So you need to be able to use different equipment relying on the chemical and physical characteristics of physical evidence that will be able to highlight these items for you to see them and be able to document them using various means. One very popular means is photography. We do a lot of that for sure in St. Kitts and Nevis. There's also videography, which we don't do much of, but you could also document scenes that way. There's also note-taking, very basic documentation skills, as well. And after you have identified and documented your evidence, then you need to be able to collect it. And collecting it is very important because you want to be able to collect items with as little contamination as possible. So you need proper packaging for that. And you need to also keep in mind something called chain of custody. You could also refer to it as the integrity of the items or the continuity of the items. You want to be able to show that this item was in a particular location, then it was collected by said person who took it to this location, and they passed it on to this other person who was in this location, etc., etc. You want to be able to establish a firm continuity of your evidence. As I would mention, all of this is really part of being able to take a case to court that is going to be able to assist the justice system in figuring out what is true. Because that's really the aim of forensic science. It's all about uncovering the truth. And as I was telling some people in a presentation I did just this week, actually, truth leads to accountability, and accountability leads to justice. And that's really what we should be interested in, making sure that we understand what exactly happened, or as best as we can understand, then being able to understand who is responsible, or who should bear responsibility. And then after that, thinking of how is this person or these people who are responsible, how are they going to do the best that they can to make it right? Whether they are punished, or whether they pay a fine, or whether they have to go into custody. All these things, really important questions, and this is what forensic science supports in the justice system.
Well, I have another very important question for you. I feel like this question is a question that many people have. So, is your work as easy as they make it seem on all of these shows?
Why? This is easy on the shows?
Yeah!
I didn't know.
24 hours and I find everything.
Well, definitely that aspect, the time aspect, is something that we definitely can't get behind in forensic science. I mean, you look at what's going on, around the world in terms of PCR testing for COVID-19. So if you have the virus that causes COVID-19, actually using a laboratory technique that actually amplifies the DNA of the virus so that we could identify and confirm that that virus is present in your body. And that technique is actually really well used in forensic science. The shortest possible time that we have right now to do it, at least routinely, is 24 hours. So that alone tells you that, you're not going to be able to solve any crime in one day. And then there's the issue of, particularly looking at DNA analysis. If you go to a scene and you're able to collect a sample for DNA analysis, have it properly collected and packaged and stored, it's going to take some time before your analyst gets to that sample. That alone is some lag time right there. And then, of course, the actual analysis takes time. You're going to do your PCR run. It's going to take 24 hours for you to get back results. Somebody has to then put those results into a database. And we don't know if we're going to get a hit or not, because lo and behold, not everybody, who you would suspect of criminal activity is contained within any specific database. So, there are a lot of different challenges that you have. The timing issue, definitely, it's not that easy. Your databases don't spit out pictures of people so that you could just be like, yeah, this is the guy or this is the woman. The other thing I would say is that right now in forensic science, people are getting very, very specific because you need to be an expert at what you do. So very rarely would you ever find somebody who is a firearms and toolmax examiner, somebody who is good at analyzing guns and bullets and cartridge cases to tell you, all of these would have come from, all these bullets would have come from one gun. That person would probably just be doing that alone. They'd just be doing firearms cases only. They probably would not, all of a sudden find a cup at a crime scene, be able to put on some powder on it, find a fingerprint, lift it, go back to their lab, put it in a database. They wouldn't do all that. They'd probably just be doing firearms and toolmax examination. So you're getting people who are very, very specific and specialized. But on a lot of these shows, you have a lot of generalists who are experts at everything. And they're good at everything. I mean, that is definitely not realistic.
Yeah.
And I mean that leads to burnout.
For sure.
Serious burnout.
For sure. But I mean, even in talking about our capabilities here in St. Kitts, because I do believe, based on what you've described, that the job that you do is critical, in really, like you said, finding out the truth and then being able to hold the responsible people accountable. But is this area that you'd encourage more people to explore, recognizing that we do have the need for this type of expertise here on the island?
Well, that's the thing. In St. Kitts and Nevis, there are so many people who are already interested in forensic science because it's actually the forensic sciences, plural. There's so many different disciplines, so many different things that you could go into, in order to support justice. And there's already people right there, some people with the training, some people with the interest alone, who are, ready to do work in these areas. And, it's not for lack of interest that we don't have a bigger forensic science industry, let me put it that way. Because there's so many persons, who are really looking forward to when this thing can really jump off. But, we are limited. Definitely the police force is really the lead agency in terms of forensic science in St. Kitts and Nevis. But, there's also a lot of other government agencies who would need these kind of services. Her Majesty's Customs and Excise Department would need these kind of services from time to time. You also look at what Coast Guard is doing. You encounter a lot of things where you want to really understand, do you have physical evidence of a criminal activity or not? So there's a lot of different areas where we could go into. Definitely, the police force is doing its best to support, all the agencies who are really looking into, issues of crime, and of course the issues of violent crime as well. We need to, try our best really to get into, let me not say the habit, but really professionalize what we do around uncovering the truth and, making sure justice is done.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine, especially in here in St. Kitts, where we have so many instances where you have persons who are seeking truth, particularly surrounding the activities of their lovers, that this could be something that a lot of people would find the need for. What, Jade?
No, I see where Azem is going with that, and I support that all.
What, Jade?
Go ahead, ask a question, friend.
Because I believe that a lot of the reasons why Jade in particular watches these shows is to try and pick up some tips as to how she could use in her personal life.
Why are you trying to involve me in your nonsense?
I'm just saying. I'm sure Kevon has been has had people try to solicit his services for such things. I'm telling you.
Not my services. I've never. But I do think that there is need for private investigators in St. Kitts and Nevis. I mean, one of the issues that we have is that when you're doing background checks on people, me and my wife talk about this all the time. Like, somebody should not be able to work in a position where the public could trust you, such as a bank or what's not, where you're not getting a thorough background check, and you can't rely on the police or, customs or even the high schools to look back in their records
to provide all this.
Give you something, you need to, you need to have somebody who is professional, who's going to have all the paperwork really arranged, so that when people apply for certain positions, definitely, they're going to have to sign some waivers and understand that their background will be looked into. And of course, you're going to have people, they're looking to see, how my husband, where he going all these kind of times and nights, So private investigators will certainly work well for those people.
So you're saying something like a cheaters would work down here if we had that type of specialized
It would definitely work. The only issue is that I'm not sure if there is a law legislating private investigators.
We can look into it.
I do think
security companies.
I think the other thing that would really limit that is that I think after the investigations begin, Kittitian women would quickly recognize that Kittitian men don't cheat, and so and so a lot of these speculations would go up begging.
Well, it might be worth somebody putting in some investment to confirm these things.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good hypothesis. A scientist would say, no, we're going to do some research on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think this needs to be proven because the speculations. I'm Jade. But Kevon, I must say, taking the step out and doing what you had to do and putting yourself on the path to achieve what you've achieved and learn the skills and acquire the skills that you've acquired. I think it's admirable because a lot of times, like you said, there's a lot of interest, but sometimes, persons may not actually have the conviction to be able to go after what they're seeing, especially when there's not a lot of examples of persons doing it already. I'm hoping that persons like yourself who show that there's not only a possibility of you achieving these goals, but also the need for these skills here would really inspire more people to pursue these pathways. I think that it's something that we need here in St. Kitts. Something that we really, and you've pointed out, even outside of just assisting the police in the criminal investigations, how important it is to be able to have persons with these skills to really just add value to all these different departments. I think that even a lot of times we think about forensic science and we look at the shows, and we even very narrow-minded in relation to how these skills could be put to use and contribute to society. So based on what you're saying, I really hope to see more people, jumping out.
Yeah.
You think this is an area that perhaps even like the government should look into finding ways to encourage people, whether it's scholarships or grants, to be able to go off and pursue studies in?
I think there's a lot of scholarships already available for persons who are in St. Kitts and Nevis. And one of the issues that we have is really around who gets these opportunities. We really need to broaden out the scope of who we're looking for in terms of giving people these opportunities. What I think also, it would be something that would also add value, is looking at how we can increase the job opportunities of people in the forensic science industry. Like I mentioned, there's so many different avenues, like I'm a scientist, but in terms of the technology that we use in forensic science, you really need good computer programmers. And you need people to maintain these systems and databases, equipment that you have, and of course, engineering-wise, you need people that are going to be able to build you better facilities, to really house these things. And we could always look for these persons locally, so it doesn't have to be forensic scientists working in the forensic science industry. It could be a computer scientist. We could have these people come in and, help you building a better database, something locally built, or building apps that you could use while you're investigating crime scenes, something that could be secure for your people, even to store images. Like I mentioned, we take a lot of photographs. We have a lot of digital images. Like, get something built locally using the talent that you have to really have a secure database for them. So, there's a lot of different avenues that you could go into. We all understand that, the government doesn't have an unlimited, set of monetary resources, at least. But like I mentioned, so many people are already interested. So many people already have these talents and already have these skills and capabilities right here right there in our Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So I think that a lot more can be done. Definitely there's persons who are civilians. I mean, when I started November 2013, I was the only civilian, going out on crime scenes, answering calls, working all hours of the night. But now you have, a number of persons who are, civilians, specifically in the police force doing this work. We have to be able to applaud our people, putting their effort out there to help us secure justice. So, there's a lot more that can be done just to let people know that this is an area that is appreciated and one that is well supported by the government.
Nice.
Well, as somebody who you said you had to take pictures and go to crime scenes and all of these things, I'm pretty sure you've seen some things that a lot of us would never want to see. How do you prepare for these types of calls and jobs that you have to do?
Well, I mean, the truth is, I was always so interested in the field that, these things really became just, another part of the job. And, it's only when, you take time afterwards to recognize, what you've been through, that you realize, that you've really been exposed to some traumatic things. The case that always comes to mind for me is Leanna Napoleon. I remember when Leanna Napoleon's body was found.
Wow.
That was a major, major thing, and the truth is, at the time, we were just doing our best to really do our job. But I look back on that now and it's, it's unbelievable, the fact that I was able to just go about my day, try my best to suppress that.
So even though you try to compartmentalize, there's no way to escape some effect based on
there is no way, The more you try to compartmentalize or the more you try to repress these things that you've been through, is the more you end up repressing other areas of your life. you can't exactly be a loving person if, every time somebody dead and you go to that scene, you just refer to them, as another case. You end up losing a little bit of yourself, and the police force did try to bring in a psychologist so that, members could really go and really talk about these issues. But of course, there's a lot of other issues around that. You don't exactly want your superiors to know, that, you're not really handling these things very well, because then your job might be in jeopardy. That's how a lot of us felt in the agency. Where exactly should we go to talk to the psychologist when the psychologist is big friends with the commissioner? Things like that, really tough. So I think I did myself an injustice by not really preparing myself and also seeking avenues to really talk about what I've been through. But what I would definitely say is that you definitely need a release. You need other things outside of the job to do, and you need time outside of the job to really decompress. That's something that is very, very valuable. I'll tell anybody now that if you ever get a chance to take a break doing this work, you take it. If anybody ever say go home early, you go home early. If anybody ever say giving you a day off today, don't come into the office, do not go. Like, you need your time. Time is so valuable for persons who work in this job, and that's really one of the ways that you could keep your stress levels down.
Yeah, I could imagine that sometimes based on your job, having to be the one who witnesses the aftermath of the actions of the worst among us at times, right? I could imagine that being something that really is impactful and traumatic. But I love the fact that you recognize the need to deal with that in some way, whether it is, like you said, taking time off, talking to somebody, and that kind of thing. Hopefully, the higher ups give space and grace to persons who need it. I sometimes wonder about that even with police officers too.
Right? They're in a high stress job, and they have to constantly be seeing and dealing with things that would really break anyone. So I really hope that
Jade, I don't even want to see the pictures that will be going around on social media.
I don't look at them.
I don't look at them.
I'm not doing that to myself.
So imagine being the person who is charged with having to document
right?
to document what has happened here in order to try and you secure justice for it's definitely something that I think we even us civilians really need to
think about
and recognize the service that these people are
we're
doing.
re-traumatizing a lot of people, particularly police officers. It's not enough that people are gonna see you on the road and be like, oh man, what about this? I know who is the killer. I mean, like, seriously, police officers oftentimes do not know any more than anybody else knows. They're investigating an incident, and it takes a lot of time and effort, and there could be trauma associated with that. You keep seeing these things going around, whether it's on social media, whether it's just in the road, people talking. It's really tough. Like, you do. I mean, fair enough that it's a high stress job, but we should definitely consider the fact that it is traumatic, and it keeps on coming back in the face of the people who work in this industry. That's why a lot of people, they say they don't lie. I know a lot of police officers, they say they do not go anywhere because people recognize them, and that's all they want to talk about, or they want to mention something. Like, police officers genuinely, they're dealing with very tough situations every single day. It is rough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, like I said, we really need to recognize that and give grace in as much as possible to persons who are doing the jobs that a lot of us aren't willing to do, but are necessary to be done. So, man, Ciaran, yourself, again, really, really admire the steps that you've taken to really go out and do what was necessary to achieve your dreams, and really point out the necessity. I really believe, even so, you're saying, the role that you would have played being the first civilian in the role that you were at the police force. I think that is important, and really happy to see that more steps are being taken to include persons with these kinds of skills. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today, taking the time out to talk to us, and really just given to Jade's fantasy to talk to somebody with particular skills. Yes, Jade, it's a fantasy, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like, just all you have
Thanks
to
a
do.
lot for having me.
Yeah, all you have to do is just look at the show every day and look at the the articles that she put in, and you're gonna know.
Thank you, Ciaran, so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I just want to say a special shout out to my cousin Lasana here. She lives there at Baker's Corner. So I just wanted to let her know.
For sure.
I see you supporting me. I hope that you hear this. So thanks a lot for everybody at Island Tea for having me.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. And good luck with everything that you have coming up.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Guys, time is fast spent. We're going to wrap up this show. Stay tuned to WINNFM now, because we have coming up the press conference of the premiere of Nevis right here on WINNmedia and WINNFM 98.9. But thank you so much for joining us today on Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. So much you don't want to wait. Make sure you're here tomorrow 8 to 10 right here on Facebook and YouTube at WINNmedia SKN. Also, you could check us out on Instagram at Island T SKN. Jade.
Yeah. You have to take it out because, Kevon isn't here. So, see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. And guys, remember, you can't be everybody's cup of